that it's too painful that they might be a bad person.
But that assumes that they kind of know deep down they're doing bad things.
Okay, do you think they don't, or do you?
Well,
Tell me more about what you're saying there.
So that was sort of, there's a lot of people who've tried to figure out self-deception. In the 20th century, probably the biggest character addressing that was Sigmund Freud. Mm-hmm. And his model, I think it'd be fair to say it this way, it would be a model of deception, but not a model of self-deception. In other words, he would see person A, he would sort of lead you into it this way. You got person A and you got person B. Person A knows the truth and withholds that from B, deceives B, so B does not know the truth. And then he draws a circle around all that and turns it into a stick figure with a torso and some legs and arms. And he puts all that in the mind, okay? Bifurcates it, divides it down the middle, said over here, the part that knows the truth is the unconscious mind, and the part that is kept from knowing the truth, is being deceived, is the conscious mind. And then you have this, the unconscious mind had what he called primary psychical powers, what we would call
unconscious.
The unconscious mind.
Okay, urges.
Urges, libido, these things that want to express themselves, drives,
okay,
those sorts of things. And so they would express themselves. Well, where did they express themselves into but the conscious mind? Mm-hmm. And the conscious mind had secondary psychical processes, which included the ability to repress such a drive. Okay, so here's it being expressed. The conscious mind would then repress it, which Freud thought built up this pressure until you had this sort of psychic episode when you really messed up.
And did something crazy.
And the Frenchman came along, the existentialist, Jean-Paul Sartre, comes along and says, notice that we'd have to know the truth very clearly in order to hide it from ourselves carefully. And what he noted was, in order for the conscious mind to repress a drive, it has to become aware of it. So the original conception of the unconscious mind keeps the conscious mind from knowing what's afoot falls apart immediately. Freud took that critique seriously. And for the rest of his life, he tried to figure out variations on the model to get a hold of the fact that still made it work. And so he made part of the conscious mind unconscious. And other...
This is id, ego, and now we got a superego. Yeah.
So and those things all came later, but his daughter, Anna, said that he was nearly insane when he went to his grave because he couldn't figure it out.
Couldn't reconcile it.
And quite frankly, when you go through and you read it, you realize how hard he's working to sort this stuff out. Mm-hmm. And it was a monumental effort. And quite frankly, Terry Warner would tell you that challenge made by Sartre to Freud helped him realize it couldn't be a two-part thing. It couldn't be part of you knows the truth and the other part doesn't know the truth. Yeah. Which that idea gave rise in our culture that, well, deep down he knows the truth. Well, deep down is down in the unconscious mind.
So are you saying that the opposite is true, that deep down we don't know the truth?
Well, I would say this, there's not any, when I'm self-deceived, I'm self-deceived. There's not a part of me that remains unself-deceived.
So there's times when we know the truth if we are not self-deceived.
Yeah.
But when we
and
are
we have those moments all the time with others.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. And that makes sense to me. That makes sense to me.
But then around some issue,
well,
I see it all distortedly. And there's not someplace down somewhere in my soul or something where I know Karl's a good person, but I'm just being a jerk. No, I really am convinced you're a jerk. It's not showmanship.
Yes, I get what you're saying there, and that makes sense to me. Like when we're deceived, we do not see the truth, and we don't understand it.
We see it distortedly.
Yes.
Which Sartre gave Warner a hint, and the hint it had to be a unitary act. There had to be a single choice that set all this in motion. You couldn't have it be a two-step process. Prior to Freud, there was another individual. So his is a bifurcation model, a divided model. And then there was Fingerette, who had you've got a weak belief and a strong belief. Sort of these tug of war within, which also they don't work. It doesn't work again. So a lot of Terry has a book out now called Self-Betrayal, which is his theory, and he very carefully goes through these two models, and he really has worked hard to show them exactly how Freud or Fingeret would show these, how they would do it, and then he can show you. He then pulls out how come it falls apart. It just won't. You can't quite pull it off.
Yeah.
But these men were working hard. People have been at this for 3,000 years.
And for sure, Terry didn't come up with, like, he stood on the thoughts of other men as he came up with a theory that, to me and you, works.
Yeah.